Thank you, Unity Band. I'll choose Manhattan, but today I'm choosing Lansing. Okay. Good morning. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Lansing. I'm Reverend Sharon Ketchum, and it certainly is my pleasure to welcome you today. And also to those of you that are online, thank you for joining us. That great, wonderful commotion you're hearing here is some of our online people that have come in person. So, you don't have to stay online. Welcome, Unity of Jacksonville. Yeah, this is super, super. And if you are here for your first time, I hope you received a little thing of popcorn. Thank you for popping in, and we hope you'll find a kernel of truth in today's service. If you'd like to connect with us some more, there are connection cards on the table, or online. You can go online to fill out a connection form and receive our e-news, those things going on. Important thing for you to know is that we are a prayer ministry, and if you have any concerns or celebrations, we have a prayer box over there that you can put your name in, or a friend's name in, just first names only, and our prayer team will pray with you for the next 30 days, and then we send it to Silent Unity for an additional 30 days of prayer. So whatever is going on, know that you are not alone, that you are totally and well supported. Let's affirm our mission statement together. We spiritually awaken to our oneness with God, with each other, and with all creation. This mission has come out of our vision where we can see a world that is powerfully transformed by a growing spiritual movement. Not that there's one right and perfect way to do this, but that we get to a point where we can honor all the different ways and wherever we are on our own individual path. Let's affirm together. The enlightenment of the Buddha shines within us. The compassion of the Christ moves through us. The power of Jehovah strengthens and guards us. The presence of Allah surrounds and guides us. Wherever we are, the Tao is, and all is God. And since this is the last of the Independence Day weekend, fireworks have been going on since last weekend, so we will tie it all up today, but it's a beautiful song to a well-known musical melody, the Finlandia, called This Is My Song, as a tribute to our country and countries around the world.
This is my song.
And with that, yes, a little applause. That was, yes, nice. Thank you for leading us so well. But isn't that our prayer on this Independence Day week that we've been celebrating? Really, that there is peace in all of our world. And of course, we can't give to others till we can do it for ourselves. So really today, as we pray for our world, I really want to start with peace within ourselves. So if we can just take a moment to close our eyes and turn within to that delicate yet powerful place where there is peace Nothing more, nothing less, and nothing else. And as we claim this peace for ourselves, it allows our eyes to have greater vision, to see peace within our country, a great diversity of ideas and opinions that all meld into one for a greater good for all. And as we allow this peace to grow, to totally embrace our world, where there are conflicts, where there's starvation, where there are struggles, and where there are celebrations. We know that God is in the midst of that instant, that event, those circumstances right now, this very minute, empowering each and every person to do those things that are theirs to do to bring about that harmony, that connectivity, that greater understanding of the oneness that is us. For this truth, for our time together, we say thank you, thank you, thank you, and so it is. Amen. Okay, well, it's July, and there's some July birthdays, but I can't go any further without welcoming our newest member. We know everybody probably heard CJ's name, but we have a new CJ. Cynthia Jean, and she is 1 month old today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There's Deshawn over there beaming as only the mother after childbirth beams. On that. So there are some other people that were born this month. I'm not going to ask you how many years ago. So if you're having a birthday, come on up so we can sing happy birthday to you and celebrate you. And you know, NATO this week is turning 75, so we'll celebrate NATO too. 75 years. Oh, did I forget to put happy birthday? No. What? Oh, okay. Yeah, NATO's turning 75. Yeah, okay. Hi. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Not quite as old as NATO.
I'm older. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, you're wonderful. Take a birthday card. Thank you. Happy birthday. Yeah. Share the joy. Okay. So now we're going to take a little minute at the table, and I'm going to ask you the question this morning, what's the riskiest thing you've ever done, and why did you do it? And I know that a couple weeks ago when we were doing Pastor the Creative Mind, there were people that really got out of their comfort zone and did some risky things like reading a poem or doing improv. So whatever that risky thing is, it may not, it was risky for you. It doesn't have to be that you walked around the CN Tower leaning out or whatever it might be for you. So what's the riskiest thing you did? Wow.
Excuse me.
Well, what pops up into mind?
Oh, the first thing that popped up probably wasn't as risky as I thought it was. I was at Camp Rotary, which is a Boy Scout, Cub Scout camp, but it was actually at, I think, our grade school that went. And they have this water tower, and they let you rappel down. And I couldn't believe I was hearing my own voice saying I'd try it. And it wasn't that scary. It was more embarrassing because I started spinning, and I had to kind of get going down again. I think they may have finally taken pity on me and let me down, but hey, I tried,
That's awesome.
What about you?
That's awesome. I'm not really brave physically. I was going to finally go parasailing on the water where they take you up, and just then the weather changed and saved me from it. But I think probably going to ministerial school, like as an adult, to leave your home, your friends, and to go 2,000 miles away for 2 years.
I've had that experience too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big decision, but there's something in you that you have to do it. It may not make sense, but they're just
You're
compelled
to do it.
Yeah.
Compelled to do it.
Yeah. Now, my daughter, on the other hand, She jumped out of planes, she goes deep sea diving, she just took up motorcycle riding. She's a physical risk taker.
I still love thrills. You know, I like roller coasters, I like all that. But I never see it as a risky thing, so I don't count that.
Oh, well, there you go.
Is Austin here today?
No, he's not.
Okay, I was going to have him
Yeah.
help people remember that our song
Yeah.
is a call and response, but I'll do my
Anybody
best
else
to
we can?
remind them.
Okay.
And you said Jacksonville for our guests? It's
Jackson. Jackson.
Should we do our song?
Yeah, let's do our song. Let's come back together. Yeah.
This is a call and response. Don't forget. This side, this side. Take a look at the person next to you.
Take a look at the person next to you.
Say, God loves you and I love you too.
God loves you and I love you too.
Now feel the love in the sanctuary.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Take a look at the person next to you.
Take a look at the person next to you.
Say, I recognize the God in you.
I recognize the God in you.
Now feel the love in the sanctuary.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you.
Take a look at the person next to you.
Say, Namaste, I bow to you.
Namaste, I bow to you.
Now feel the love in the sanctuary.
Love in.
Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Yeah.
Okay, good morning. And I'm Jeff Benoit. Most of you know that, but many of you may not. And Unity's daily word today is beauty, inspired by Paul's second letter to the Corinthians, which says, "And all of us, with unveiled faces, seeing the glory of God, as though reflected in a mirror, are being transformed into the same image." We see beauty in soaring mountains, in rolling seas, in majestic forests, and kaleidoscopic fields of wildflowers. We hear beauty in music, bird songs, and the laughter and conversations of people in fellowship. Searching beyond our senses, we discover a greater depth of beauty. The mundane items and landmarks we may take for granted take on a deeper beauty when our memories fill them with meaning. Our dear ones become even more beautiful to us when we pause to remember our fondest experiences and the love that binds us. We move through each day with our minds and hearts open. Now even the most ordinary items, places, and circumstances become more and more precious and beautiful to us. And let us affirm together, my heart discovers beauty all around me. The Dalai Lama celebrated his 89th birthday yesterday. Last year, on his 88th, he said, "We are celebrating my 88th birthday, and look at me. I look barely 50. The Dalai Lama said, "We have a universal responsibility to change the course of history, to guide it in a more positive direction, a universal order that works for the welfare of the whole of mankind and all sentient beings." We have this responsibility, both individually and collectively, and this responsibility extends to the whole earth itself. One thing is for certain. Given human beings love of truth, justice, peace, and freedom, creating a more compassionate world is a genuine responsibility, a genuine possibility. That would truly be a beautiful world. And now I'd like to welcome Jace McCloy for some of his wonderful music.
It's not that easy being green, having to spend each day the color of the leaves, when I think it could be nicer being red or yellow or gold or something much more colorful like that. It's not that easy being green. It seems you blend in with so many other ordinary things, and people tend to pass you over because you're not standing out like flashy sparkles on the water or stars in the sky. But green is the color of spring, and green can be cool and friendly like, and green can be big like the ocean, or important like a mountain, or tall like a tree. When green is all there is to be, it can make you wonder why. But why wonder, why wonder? I am green, and that'll do fine. It's beautiful, and I think it's what I want to be. Give it up for the band, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, thank you, Jay. Oh, you show-offs that are tall and young that just jump off the stage and ignore the stuff. I'm green with envy on that. Well, we are on a summer road trip, a spiritual road trip. We started last week. It's a trip to follow our bliss, and we talked about as we go on the trip that we take our bliss bag, we let go of all the albatrosses and stuff dragging us down. We seek some guidance about where we're going. The credit cards are up there because it's going to take energy, you know. So we know that we're all energy. We want to connect with that. And then finally, we look to find our God song, that song that's us, specifically for us. That's who we are, what's really in our hearts as we take off on this journey. So I touched on Joseph Campbell and his idea about following our bliss, and I was thinking about the word bliss. Does your mind ever kind of go on things with words? Like you kind of start playing things. So I'm thinking about anagrams. Believing life initiates soulful serenity. That would be blissful. Being love inside sends sunshine. We feel the love inside. We're just a light wherever we go. How about better living involves simple suggestions? Like this whole thing isn't complicated. It's not that you have to study for years. We simply have to be. Almost like we need to unstudy sometimes. We're so much in our head. And how about becoming laughter, imagining sweet sacredness? Right. Spirituality isn't this serious, heavy thing. It's about living life in joy. It's really, I think, what we're here for, to find that joyful experience for our oneness. But there are dilemmas on the road trip. There are bumps in the road. There are times that you get lost, times you have to make choices. And I read this thing. It says, in life, when you come to a fork in the road, take a picture of it and post it to Facebook. One time, years ago, I was in Paris, and I was driving a car from England, which was on the other side of the road than what they were driving in France, and it was a stick shift, and I was going around the Arc de Triomphe. It's a circle with like 6 lanes, and it was so crazy, I stopped and took a picture. I didn't know what else to do, Sometimes when you come to the fork, you just stop and take a picture. So as we're making these choices, we can kind of evaluate where we are. Are we being wasteful or are we being wise? Where are we investing our time, our energy, our interests? Are we being loving or are we being hurtful? These are all forks in the road for us. Are we being kind to people or are we enabling them, thinking that they're not able, so we're going to lift them up? Or how about, are we being miserable? Oh, gosh, I have to do this again. Or are we being blissful, kind of taking things in stride, kind of breathing through it, if you will? Important thing when you're on the road is to follow the law, right? We all know that, especially when it's the beginning or end of the month. They're out needing to get, well, that's probably just a rumor that they need to get more tickets at that time of the year. It's a Baltimore Grotto Society, they're a caving society, and they have a law that says, take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints, kill nothing but time. I thought, isn't that a beautiful motto to kind of go on the road with for a spiritual road trip, right? Take nothing but pictures. It doesn't have to be a camera, those pictures in our mind, the memories that we're creating. Leave nothing but footprints, don't leave destruction behind. Just your energy, that loving energy, and kill nothing but time. Really support the idea of life itself. We want to be in harmony when we travel. We don't want to be in adversity. We want to be in the flow. Eric Butterworth, the Unity writer, talks about being in the flow. And we've all been there from time to time where things are going so smoothly. I know I have a tendency to think, am I missing something? This is all going very easy. Okay, something's going to happen up here. No, it's okay. It's quite okay to have things go easy. So I know when I get in the car, one of the first things I do is look at my GPS. I've yet to get east and west, north and south, straight in Lansing, so it's really helpful for me. But we go on a trip, we do want some kind of a guidance system, and GPS stands for Global Positioning System. On our spiritual trip, that GPS maybe stands for God's peaceful signals. Like we all have free will, and I don't know about you, but I often ask, is this the right choice, or where should I go next? And there are peaceful signals all the time that kind of guide us. Not that any decision is right or wrong. I would always tell my kids, it's not right or wrong, it's just the journey you're going to take this time. And if you don't like that journey, you just make a different decision. It's okay. It's absolutely okay. But when we're in our spiritual mode, when we're into allowing that GPS to really work through us, there's a feeling about being connected. You may not have answers yet, but you have a sense that you're not alone, that there's kind of this oneness, this energy of life itself that's with you as you're moving along. So you're connected, but connected to what? What are you connected with? You know there's not some big guy in the sky. We know there's not an implant in our body that's letting everybody know where we are. What are we connected to? Really, I think it's your sacred space. When we're connected to that very delicate but very strong, peaceful place within us. Joseph Campbell said, your sacred space is where you can find yourself again and again. When things get really hairy out here or chaotic, maybe it's nothing bad, it's just so much chaos. Other times there's things that are really heavy, you don't know how to get through it. Knowing that if you can just stop and break that chaos for a moment and go to that peaceful place that's always there, it could just be a deep breath will take you there. And then with your next breath, things are just a little clearer and a little clearer. You're connected to that part of you that is bigger than you. A couple of weeks ago, we were doing Passion of the Creative Mind, and during service, Stowe Good played a song they wrote, and Denise Coelho did a painting while she was here, just unplanned how it was going to go, and this is where she was when she left. And this week, talk about being connected. As she allowed this creative force to work through here, this was the next rendition of it as it started filling in, but she knew it wasn't done yet. There was this thing speaking to her. She explains it much better than I do explaining it for her. But the creative force is just that flow, really that GPS system, those God's peaceful signals. And this is where it finished up. Isn't that lovely? Yeah. It's so alive, it sparkles, the stars, everything. I got chills when I saw where it had taken her. And our journeys are like that too. They start out, okay, there's an idea there, but there's this big blank space. And then we fill it in what we think it is, but you kind of know you're not there yet. And then you bring in the life. You bring in the sparkle. You bring in the light. So I really thank Denise for sharing these with us. So the GPS has different positionings that I think of. And one of them is, what do you really believe? And I'm going to give you a story of how to really judge what you believe. Back in 1858, there's a rope dancer called Charles Blondin. That's what they call it, a rope dancer, not a tightrope walker, a rope dancer. He was the first man to walk a tightrope across Niagara Falls. He did it quite successfully, and then he kept adding on to it. One time he went out there with a stove and fixed himself an omelet and ate it over Niagara. This man, I talk about risky things. I don't know what risky things you shared this morning. So one day he's out there, and he's got this idea. He wants to carry somebody across in a wheelbarrow. And he asked the crowd, would you get in? Nobody would get in. So his manager got in the wheelbarrow. Because he said to his manager, do you believe I can do this? His manager says, yeah, I believe. He goes, no. Do you really believe? Yeah, I believe you can do this. He says, no. Do you really, really, really believe? If you do, then you get in the wheelbarrow. So it makes my hands sweat thinking of it. Have you been to Niagara Falls? This is not a piece, it's a very chaotic. The water is just powerful and chaotic. Okay, so his manager gets into the wheelbarrow. They're going across, he's getting ready to go across Niagara Falls on a tightrope. And he says, look up, Harry, you are no longer Colcard. That cord is the name. You are Blondin. Until I clear this place, be part of me, mind, body, and spirit. If I sway, sway with me. Do not attempt to do any balancing by yourself. If you do, we will both go to our deaths. Isn't that a great analogy of what it's like to work with spirit? Can you imagine if you were so aligned with that GPS system of God that you did nothing by yourself? That if you felt the sway, you would sway with it, not fight against it. If you're riding somebody on the back of a bicycle, how they'll have a tendency to go the other way. I can so feel this. I can feel it in my gut, what it would be to totally be in that connected space. So aligning with our beliefs is really about putting our life on that line. Are we willing to take that risk? Do we really, really, really believe that we are connected, that we are guided, that there is a force for good in this world that is greater than anything else? There is a force for love that can overcome anything and everything. So what would it take for you to get into that wheelbarrow? Better living through chemistry, probably. But really we're asking ourselves, what would it take to answer the call for our journey? What would it take for us to move in that direction? Some of us want a sign. I have asked many times for skywriting. I think that would be very effective for me. I've had a few cosmic 2x4s when I'm not paying attention, and all of a sudden, no way to ignore it. Sometimes bad judgment gets me there. I make such a bad decision on my own that I'm ready. It's amazing. A lot of us don't pray till we're actually brought down to our knees for something, because we have messed this up royally ourselves, and we don't know what else to do except to finally give in. Like there's no other choice. Remembering that we do not have control, but we always have the choice. We don't control the weather. We don't control events around us. We don't control the world situation. But we always have the choice about how we're going to be involved in it, how we're going to label it, how we're going to feel about it. That is always totally up to us. That is where our power lies. Ram Dass, who is one of my early spiritual influences, Be Here Now is one of my favorite books. And he says, it's only when caterpillarness is done that one becomes a butterfly. That again is part of this paradox. You cannot rip away the caterpillarness. The whole trip occurs in an unfolding process of which we have no control. Think about it. The caterpillar has to be the caterpillar. And then it has to go into that cocoon and become nothing. It becomes totally liquefied. And then it comes into the butterfly. And even the butterfly can't really be a butterfly until it struggles its way out of the cocoon, because that's what builds its strength, the blood circulation through its wings so that it can fly. You can't rush it. Same way with us. It takes as long as it takes. Takes as long as it takes. And time's only our construct anyway. We made it up. We thought it'd be easier to look at life if we had some kind of time and calendar. Okay, GPS position number 2, course corrections. There are times when it's helpful to know where heaven and hell are, so you can make the best choice for you. I'm not going to make any judgment on which choice you'd like to make. But there's this wonderful story about a samurai warrior who goes up to the Zen master. And samurai warriors, I mean, they had these great suits of kind of armor, leather thing, and wonderful swords, and very powerful. And the samurai goes up to the Zen master and says, okay, I want you to tell me what is heaven and what is hell. Zen master looks at him and goes, you are too stupid. You're an embarrassment to all the samurais. Get out of here, clear this space. Well, the samurai, who's not used to being talked to like that, pulls out his sword, and he's just about to kill the Zen master when the Zen master looks into his eyes and said, that is hell. And as the samurai heard that and just calmed down, and he fell to his knees. He was so humbled by this man who was willing to risk his life to teach him something important. And as he got down on his knees with that great depth of understanding, the Zen master said, and this is heaven. And this is heaven. So knowing that we always have that choice of how we're going to respond, and the anger, the adversity, the offensive or defensive, they can both be pretty brutal, or settling into that flow where we're in harmony, not in adversity with what's going on. Even though we don't like it, we allow ourselves to be in that flow, to be in that movement going forward. 4th of July, I took a workshop on polarity. And you might have felt some polarity in our world these days. And we're very clever when somebody thinks something different than us of how we make a case for it. Our idea, we talk about the strong points, and we know everything has benefits and unbenefits, right? When we look at the other person, we look at their unbenefits or the other position. So we're arguing from our good side and their bad side. And of course, they do the same in reverse. And, allowing us just to see that heaven and hell, there's a place to meet. There's a place to meet in harmony and without adversity. So where are you? Where are you in this moment? Joseph Campbell, in his writings, he says, I don't believe people are looking for the meaning of life as much as they are looking for the experience of being alive. Wow. It's not the meaning of life, it's the experience of being alive. I would dare say we've all had times where we've kind of slipped into that nothingness of not wanting to get out of bed, not feeling a purpose, having a why bother kind of attitude. Might have been for 10 minutes, it might have been for days or even months. So we want that experience of being alive, and we're not quite sure how to get it. Well, the place that we always need to start is where we are. Know thyself. All the work that we do is not about knowing things out there. I think it's really about knowing the essence of who we are and how we connect with this entire world and beyond. So embracing where we are, if you're on that tightrope over Niagara Falls, you want to know exactly where you are before you take the next step. Yeah, can you picture that? You would be very focused on where you were. You know where you're going, but you know right now where it is that you are. Which brings me to the GPS, the position number 3, here and now. That is the only time and only place there is here and now. We are always in the here and now. Eric Hoffer is an American philosopher, and he said, a preoccupation with the future not only prevents us from seeing the present as it is, but it also prompts us to rearrange the past. Wow, think about that one. I do a lot of celebration of life services, and I think one of the great joys when somebody makes the transition from the flesh to spirit is that they become a saint. I've only known one person that we celebrated that didn't quite make it, but most of the time, people are willing to let go of the past to rewrite it for a good reason, to remember the things that were really worthy, that had an impact, that showed more love and more connection. But a lot of times we like to rearrange the past, make it a little softer, make our mistakes a little less blatant, or calling ourselves stupid or whatever that word might be. But the only place that we have to travel is really right here in this spot, wherever we are. This spot is it. This is the center of the universe in this moment. The only time we have to travel is right now. We are always in this holy instant, in this holy place. And I think a wonderful example of this is a story I read about a woman who was planning her daughter's wedding, comes up the day before the wedding, didn't have a lot of money, and the church was 40 miles from her house. She had this beautiful magnolia tree in her yard, and she decided she would decorate the church with these magnolias. And Friday, they'd cut all the boughs and everything, and they had them all sitting up in the choir loft so the next morning they could put them out. That night there was quite a storm, and when they came to the church, they opened the door, and there was this heat wave that came out. The storm had knocked out the air conditioning, and all the magnolias were black. They had wilted. They had cooked, absolutely cooked. And if you're a mother and you're wishing for this perfect moment for your child, or, you can imagine how you feel. You just wanted this so much. You'd worked so hard to make this just delightful. So the mother took a moment and she thought, I need to find flowers someplace. So she went into prayer. The wide open, scared to death kind of prayer that you've just been asked to walk across that typewriter wire by sitting in this wagon and letting somebody else drive. And so she thought, okay, what is it that I need? She says, first of all, I need to find magnolias. Somebody else here in town has a magnolia tree. I need the courage to ask somebody I don't know, because I know nobody in this town, if they would give me their magnolias. And then she added, please keep me safe from any dog that might be in the yard that might bite me when I go in, and let me find a house where they welcome me and don't come after me with a shotgun. So, covering all the bases here. And as she started walking away from the church, walking through town, she saw this magnolia tree off in the distance. She went up there. It was perfect. It was loaded with magnolias. And she went up to the door and knocked. No dog. This is so good. And when the man came to the door, an older man, and he didn't have a shotgun. Okay, 2 of them off the list. It's just, I really need your help. And she told him what happened and asked if she could have his magnolias. And he says, I would be delighted to do that for you. He went out and he cut her all the magnolias she could use for the wedding. And then he told her, after he'd given her the flowers, she was so grateful. And he goes, you don't understand, I'm grateful to you. On Monday, my wife died. On Tuesday, we had visitation. Wednesday, I buried her. Thursday, the relatives left, and Friday, my kids left. And this morning when I woke up, I was sitting here alone crying, saying, who wants an 86-year-old man? I have nobody that needs me. My wife had been sick for 16 years, and I was there to provide for her needs. Nobody needs me now. What am I going to do? And then you knocked on the door and said, I need you. And with that, he was reinvigorated. And he thought, there's a lot of people that need flowers. I can give flowers, and just really change his life. So understanding that right where we are, in this now moment. That woman stayed in the now, knew what she needed right in that moment, let her be guided to where she was needed. She thought she was the one that needed something, and it's just this wonderful synchronicity and harmony. So here you are now. You know, in the Bible, I think the Bible should really be called a travelogue. Then maybe we wouldn't have so many arguments over what's in it. It's everybody's travel adventures. But in the Old Testament, there was the terrible cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, and some people were saved from it. And Lot's wife, as she left, could not leave the old. And as she looked back, she turned into salt, preserving the past, sometimes changing what the past looked like. Ram Dass says, as long as you have certain desires about how it ought to be, you can't see how it is. Those times that we look at the past as this was the perfect time, this is how it ought to be, it does not allow us to move forward and to be in that passion of the creative mind, of being in that creating and manifestation in our lives and for our world. Also in the Bible, in that travelogue, it's about being a visionary for the future. Joseph, with a coat of many colors, had these dreams that helped people plan ahead, knowing what they were going to need in the future so they could do those things. And as Ram Dass says, the next message you need is always right where you are. Wow, we're out looking and the message is right there in front of us. We're just missing it. We're not getting it. And I find amazing that when I don't get it, that's the message, I will see it again someplace else, or on a billboard, or on the radio. How does the guy on the radio know I need to hear that message? And I wasn't getting it when I was reading it. Now finally, just remembering that as we're traveling, the living is only here and now. So, GPS signals, connect clearly and frequently. It's really helpful before you get lost. You know, man-made GPSs, sometimes you think they're out to get you. I was told to turn left here, and I was out in Utah, and there was nothing but desert. There was no road. So make sure you got the right GPS that you're listening to there. Knowing that your life is always on the line. It's on that line, that rope across the Niagara Falls. And we can always make course corrections. We make a decision. Doesn't have to be forever. You can take the next turn, that's okay. And living in the here and now. And if GPS goes on default, there's the default message that will always come up for you. Travel at Godspeed. Travel at Godspeed, whatever that is for you. So we're going to take a little time to go into meditation. Just invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Oh, let's take a couple breaths. What a blessing to be able to breathe. To breathe in everything we need with ease and grace. And to exhale everything that is no longer useful for us. To exhale with the ease of just letting go. Bringing in, letting go. We are in the flow. And as we travel, our very personal spiritual journey, we will meet people along the way. Some seem like a gift from God. They're at the right moment. Others seem intent on blocking us and hampering us. We may wonder, why are they showing up in this journey? Why are they shaking the rope? And we learn that when we meet in another person is one of those GPS signals. It's a message that this is what we need to work on. This is a reflection of our own personal evolution. It has nothing to do with the other person. It is our next textbook, our next lesson, our next green edge of opportunity for growth. In fact, when we are centered, we can understand and learn to see that everyone we meet is God in drag. Can you find that delight? Can you find that light? Can you find that joy? Can you find that connectedness and all those who cross your path. And as we move along our journey, being, trying, failing and succeeding, laughing and crying, feeling lonely, feeling overwhelmed by crowds. Whatever the situation, to simply take that moment to acknowledge that we are all just walking each other home. We celebrate the great courage of everyone in this room who steps out so bravely, even when they are filled with fear, to really know what it is to live life. We are supported, we are inspired, even as we support and inspire others. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this magnificent journey, for the sights, for the souvenirs, for this experience called life. And so it is. Amen.
Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. Morning sun coming through in the trees, and the green leaves shimmer in the summer breeze. The songbirds singing to the honeybees, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. After the dazzle of day is done, the moon makes love to the setting sun. The stars come twinkling one by one, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God.
Even if you're green, you're living in the heart of God. Just so I wanted to say, spiritual practice for the weekend. I'm going to bring Jason back up. He's got a wonderful song for us. I thought a practice this week could be simply to stop, look, and listen. And what I'm planning to do is set my timer for every hour. And if every hour I just stopped 10 seconds looked and listened. That's one way of living life, having the experience of life, as opposed to going through the motion. We become so unconscious. So we learned this in kindergarten. Stop, look, and listen right before you cross the street. Let's do that before we cross our next activity. Okay, Jace, all yours.
But there we go. Okay, cool. That was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sermon. What I most took away from it was learning to not be afraid to take that leap when you go on the road, and you learn to just trust in that spiritual GPS without fear. You thought you knew a bit of life, you had no clue. You took a step, the world came crashing down on you. And what you feared the most of all happened. Well, now you've come to. Welcome to the world. Welcome to the world. At last, you've been taking tickets far too long, my friend, watching the world rolling past. And there's music like nothing you've heard in this world if you just let it play. There are glasses to raise in the praise of surviving the day. For a life is truly something that I can't rehearse. It's dangerous and beautiful and free as verse. And rather than avoid it, high time I stood in its way. Welcome to the world. I am in the world. And that should be enough. And that's all I have to say. Thanks for helping me sound good, guys.
That's the hardest part of being up here, is to turn the mic on, I guess. Thank you, Jace. Very beautiful. Thank you very much. And now, let's see here. Now is the time we create a sacred circle of generosity, sharing of the blessings we have received. We know that the gift we give is not a debt we owe. It is a seed we sow from a consciousness of abundance. If you are donating by check or cash, please place your gift in the glass jar on the table. If you are donating electronically or by other means, take a moment to place your hand over the jar or your heart. You can also use one of the affirmation tokens. We bless our gifts as we share of our love and our treasure by affirming together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I praise, give thanks, and am glad. Forming a circle of generosity, we thank everyone for their continued generous support of Unity through many channels, electronically, by mail, and in person. Our circle includes acts of gratitude for these many gifts by sharing of our gifts with others. There was a tie vote for the third quarter, so we are splitting our ties between Planned Parenthood and the Fledge. Both organizations do great work for our community. We'll continue acknowledging our blessings as we sing, I'm So Grateful.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 I'm so grateful.
Let us take a moment to deeply immerse ourselves in gratitude by collectively blessing the gifts received on your table. Given in love, received in love, we dedicate these gifts to do the will and the work of the Holy Spirit. And so it is. Amen. Okay, I have a reminder that there is no meeting for A Course in Miracles today. It will resume the first Sunday in August. Thank you to Nancy Clater and Wynn Potter for answering the call to deliver the pop can tabs to Ronald McDonald House and batteries we collect to the recycling center to protect our environment. If you are looking for a place to invest your energies, our Sunday hospitality team has a few openings. And we all know, Nan, raise your hand. And Chris? I'm over here. Did you want to say something? Okay.
Speaking of hospitality, yeah, go on.
Come on up.
We've had many questions, always the same one. Where do I sign up for the potluck? Because that's what we normally do. This time it's an old-fashioned potluck. You're taking your luck, whatever people bring. Except please avoid sweets, because we're going to have s'mores at the bonfire in mid-afternoon, and then later in the day we'll have a full ice cream social with banana splits, shakes, malts, sundaes, the whole 9 yards. 15 toppings, so save room.
Okay, next Sunday, you just got a little preview of this announcement. Next Sunday, on our 90th anniversary, or rather is our 90th anniversary celebration, we will be featuring music by Lucille Olson, followed by a potluck, a fully stocked ice cream bar with soda jerks to make you a custom dessert. There will be games, history, golf cart tours of the grounds, and more. This is something you will not want to miss. On the tables are copies of the Unity Pulse for July. Inside the newsletter is an invitation to this 90th anniversary celebration. If you know people who used to come to Unity, please pass the invite on to them so they can help us celebrate the 9 decades Unity has been active in Lansing. Event information is also available on the rack as well as on our website, unitylansing.org. Okay. All right, now it's time. Let's stand, creating our circle of conscious community as we sing the peace song followed by the prayer of protection. And please do recall that to check with your neighbor in the circle to make sure that holding hands is optional. Stretch, stretch.
I love to see it stretch. Is it my imagination Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was sent to me, with God as Creator
light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God is within us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.